Hey everyone. Today, I really wanted to do a fun story today because I really wasn't. Um, I had some things happen the last 2 days that have given me a little, I guess, anxiety or grief or whatever you want to call it. But I chose to reflect on those, and now I am wanting to talk about it because I think it's very important. Sorry, apparently I have a call coming in that's blocked, but I'm not going to stop my recording for some low risk call. Sorry. Anyways, and again, if you've stumbled upon this video, I am doing these for myself, and I was challenged for 100 days of 10-minute videos. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm going to talk about communication. And I think communication is so vital and can solve so many of the world's problems. So I'm going to tell you about 2 incidents that have happened in the last couple of days to me where there was a breakdown of communication. So I'm going to give you both of the incidences, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on what could have been better, or what the resolutions could have been to make it a little bit more appropriate. And it deals with communication. So the first one is an incident that happened yesterday with one of my children, and there was my children started school yesterday. So first day of school, we're in an area that doesn't have, I'm sure probably a lot of areas around the United States and have issues with finding bus drivers, and so well aware of bus situations. There's bus situations. However, I expect any communications about that transition or the transportation, about those transportation issues to be at least notified to the parents. If the bus is going to be late, or if the bus is going to, if it breaks down, or if it's in an accident, whatnot. That's my expectation as a parent who is having her children ride a bus. So yesterday, the bus was late in the mornings. Not a big deal. Again, first day of school, probably new bus driver, new routes, needs to understand. But at the end of the day, there was an issue because my child was not home within 30 minutes of the noted bus time. So, oh my goodness, my shirt is all messed up. Anyways, I decided to give the school a call. However, it was after 5 o'clock. My child is supposed to get off at about 4:40 from the bus. Their school ends at 4 o'clock. So yeah, long bus ride. So it's 5 o'clock. I call the school. There's no answer because the school closes at 5, and it immediately goes to an answering machine. So I called the bus station, and I was told that something happened and the bus had to go back to the school. And the kids were just getting picked up like 5 minutes ago. And so with that said, I was like, okay, that's fine. I understand things happen like that, but it has been 30 minutes after the dedicated time that my child was supposed to be dropped off, and he's one of the last probably to get dropped off. Why was there not any communication? And I was met with silence, and I said, if I may offer some feedback, I think that it's highly important that you prioritize communication efforts out to parents. Most parents are going to be, understanding of the fact that, communication, most parents are going to be understanding of the fact that, things happen all the time, especially with kids. Things happen. And if you were just to communicate that out to parents in a proactive manner, or right after an incident happens, that would be the expectation, I believe. And long story short, that phone call was ended. Yes, thank you for the information. Thank you. we'll try to do better next time. We'll see what we can do. You know, all the usual stuff that you would get from feedback like that. So the second incident happened the night before, which was Sunday night. It was on my way home from one of the best weekends ever. And I was flying on a Southwest flight. If you have ever flown Southwest, you know that there are times when you can book a flight and there's a layover, but you don't have to get off the plane. And it's kind of nice because if you check in late, like I did, and you get a bad seat or a seat at the back of the plane and you want to get to the front of the plane, or you just want to have a better seat in general, you get to stay on the plane and then you get to move your seat. So I boarded my flight in Phoenix, and it was almost a full flight, or it was a full flight. And so I didn't have that great of a seat, but I did have an aisle seat. Thank you to those two lovely ladies that I sat next to. They allowed me to sit in the aisle, and I could extend my knees, so it was nice. We landed at our layover destination, and I got up to let them off. And, as the flight attendants are, as people are getting off, the flight attendants are doing their job. They're, picking up after everybody. And I have a flight attendant look at me, and they're like, "Nope, get off the plane. Like, you need to get off the plane." I said, "No, I'm headed to Wichita." And so that's where the destination for this flight is. So I have a no plane change. And this individual decided to tell me again that I needed to get off the plane, and said, "I'm sorry, I forgot to make an announcement. I'm at the back of the plane." So I don't know where all the other people that were going to go to Wichita were, and maybe I'm the only one. Who knows? But, this person decides to say that, you just have to get off the plane. So being the curious cat that I am, I asked what happened. I was like, okay, when did this change? Maybe it's my fault. Maybe my phone didn't update. Maybe my app didn't update on this. What happened? And the individual proceeded to tell me that it happened in mid-flight, and that's aviation, and I should just get used to it. So I got off of my flight and found where my other gate was, which was like two gates down. Not a huge deal. Not a big deal. I have traveled plenty not to get upset by anything like this. So I go down and I look, of course, at the screen to see, like, when is this happening? And my flight that was supposed to take off about 8 p.m., it said it was delayed until 10:45. Okay. That's interesting. So I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened with the plane that I was on, and it wasn't the same that I was going to take to Wichita. So I have no idea what happened. But I noticed that, so I did what any person probably that's traveled for a bit does, is walk around the airport for a little bit. And then I went back to the gate to see if I could find out more details, if there was any more details. And there was another delay. And on the time, it was like 11:30. Now the flight was not going to take off until 11:30. Okay, what's going on? So I stood by the desk to see, if they could give any information, or who they were giving the information to. There were some individuals at the desk that were talking to them, and it seemed like a different story that they kept giving. So not sure what happened there, but I just noticed that they weren't communicating over the announcement system. I don't know the announcement system. If there's, new changes with announcement systems, please let me know. But I don't know that. I'm used to, if there's a change in a flight and there's people at the gate and their expectation is that the flight is leaving at 10:30, they're going to be like, okay, well, when is boarding happening? All of this. And there was none of that. And so we stood there and we ended up talking to the individuals at the desk, and they proceeded to tell us about there was weather, or that the flight that was coming in was getting ready to leave. It was getting ready to leave from that destination. And of course, if you've traveled enough, you probably know about Flight Checker. And you can get on there and you can type in your flight number and you can see where your incoming plane is coming from. So a few of us that were standing there did that, and the plane was taxiing, and it had been taxiing. One of the individuals that I was talking to had been taxiing for a while. So, all this said, and then it finally takes off. Probably an hour or so later, it takes off, and we finally have information from this next flight. And I just don't understand. I'm like, why is there no communication? And what's happening with this? These individuals at the desk, they're working, and they clearly have the same information I do and any more information. So I went up and I was like, okay, it looks like it's taken off. Is there a chance, because after delays, you guys know about air travel and how pilots and the crew can essentially time out. Is there a chance that this crew could time out, and we're not going to be able to get to Wichita? Honestly, I just want some communication. I want to make plans. I was in an area that I knew people in, so I could call and I could have a bed if I needed to. But, there was nothing. So, unfortunately, those two incidences happened, and I was just shocked, because in both scenarios, in my opinion, if they would have just communicated what was happening effectively, they would have just said, hey, you know what? The bus had an accident, just a minor accident. We're going to take the kids back to the school. Or the Southwest, hey, you know what? There's weather in Las Vegas where your plane is coming from. And, unfortunately, we're going to have to delay your flight, but don't worry, once the plane gets here, we're still going to be able to get to Wichita tonight. That is our hope. That is our goal, blah, blah, blah. The crew doesn't look like it's going to time out, blah, blah, blah. Whatever details. I just don't understand. Like, what is so secret about this information? Like, yeah, you don't have to reveal all of the details. Give us the need to know stuff. Need to know. That's all I'm asking. Just need to know. Just give me the information. Because, ask your questions and understand, like, why is, more people are going to be frustrated when you don't communicate about certain situations. If you don't give them all of the communication. And I really think that probably 99% of the world's problems could probably be solved by communication. Honestly, just an understanding what the other person is saying. And lastly, on communication, it's also how you deliver your message. Because unfortunately, the individual that was on that Southwest flight that gave me that information was very rude. Very rude. And I feel very bad for that person. And I'm sorry if they had a rough day, if they were mistreated, if somebody was unkind to them. But to carry that on and to be rude to the next person or to me because I took their communication to me very rude, I think it was wrong. But that's enough about that. So a special message for Melissa. Yes, soon enough, I will do a funny video. I promise. Soon enough. Oh, did you see that vein drop out? Maybe we should talk about that, Melissa. All right. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.